The day my wife announced she was moving out is seared into my memory, not because of the heartbreak I thought I'd feel, but because of the silence that followed. She stood in our living room with a suitcase by the door, her posture unnervingly steady, her voice calm. "I'm moving out," she said, like she was announcing a grocery run instead of the collapse of our marriage. For years I had prepared myself for tears, yelling, accusations, anything but this chilling indifference. I expected my chest to tighten, my world to tilt off its axis, but instead, I felt strangely light. Almost free. She blinked at me, probably waiting for me to collapse, to beg, to make promises. But I didn't. I just nodded. "Okay." Her head jerked up. "Okay? That's all you're going to say? What else do you want me to say?" I asked. "Fight for me, fight for us," she snapped, her calm breaking for the first time. But her anger didn't sting. It only revealed what I had long suspected. That she wanted control, not reconciliation. For years, our marriage had been fraying at the seams. We fought over money, over how little time we spent together, over the dead air at dinners where she scrolled on her phone instead of looking at me. I convinced myself this was what long-term love looked like, that passion turned to patience, fire to embers. But what it really turned into was loneliness. And in that moment, staring at her suitcase by the door, I realized something. I hadn't lost her that night. I'd lost her a long time ago. "No one's stopping you," I said simply. Her eyes narrowed. She grabbed her bag, stormed out, and slammed the door behind her. The silence she left behind wasn't heavy, it was relieving. That night, I sat by the window with a glass of whiskey, listening to music I hadn't touched in years. The air felt different, lighter, as though the house had been holding its breath and finally exhaled. For the first time in years, I wasn't walking on eggshells. And yet something nagged at me. Why now? Why this sudden announcement when she could have easily carried on with our hollow version of marriage? I didn't have to wait long for the answer. 2 weeks later, a friend of ours let something slip over coffee. My wife hadn't just moved out. She had moved in with someone else. A coworker. Someone I had never even suspected. The anger I thought I should have felt didn't come. Instead, I laughed. Because I already knew. Months ago, I had found messages on her laptop. Late-night chats, secret plans, affectionate goodbyes that weren't meant for me. I had kept my mouth shut, waiting, observing. And that night when she said, "I'm moving out," I finally understood. I had been living in a play she wrote, a script she rehearsed. But she didn't realize I had written an ending of my own. When I learned she was living with her coworker, it didn't surprise me. What did surprise me was how she thought she had outsmarted me. She left thinking she was the one in control, that she was finally free of a husband too boring, or predictable, to satisfy her. She didn't know that while she was busy sneaking around, I was quietly preparing. The night I discovered her affair months earlier, I didn't rage. I didn't confront her. Instead, I took screenshots, spoke to a lawyer, and began disentangling our lives piece by piece. Joint accounts were adjusted, assets protected, and the deed to our house was secured fully in my name. She had no clue. So when she left, suitcase in hand, she thought she was the one abandoning me. The truth was, I had already left her, just not physically. Weeks later, she called me. Her voice dripped with false sweetness. "Hey, I think I might have left some of my jewelry at the house. Can I come by?" I almost laughed. "Sure. But just so you know, the locks have been changed." Silence. Then her voice sharpened. "Changed? Why would you?" "Because this isn't your house anymore," I said evenly. "You walked out. Remember?" That's when the real panic began. She started calling more often, shifting from casual to desperate. "You can't just, this isn't fair. We built that life together." But the thing about building together is this: if one person spends years tearing it down in secret, the other eventually learns to build without them. I finally met her in person, at the lawyer's office. She looked different, tired, worn, and not nearly as confident as the day she announced she was leaving. Her new partner wasn't with her. Maybe he'd realized what she was really like. Maybe she was already alone. She glared at me across the polished table. "You knew," she accused. I leaned back in my chair, calm as ever. "Yes. 4 months. And you didn't say anything? What was there to say?" "You made your choice. I just made mine." Her face twisted in frustration. "You wanted me to look like the bad guy. You didn't need my help with that," I replied. The lawyer slid the papers across the table. She skimmed them, her eyes widening when she saw how little she was walking away with. No house. No joint savings. Just her clothes, her suitcase, and the bed she had chosen to share with someone else. This is unbelievable," she whispered. "No," I said softly. "This is consequences." For years, she thought she held the strings, pulling me along while she lived a double life. But when she finally cut the rope, she realized I had already let go. She signed the papers with shaking hands, her eyes flicking up to me, maybe searching for a glimmer of the man who once adored her. But he was gone. When it was over, I walked out into the sunlit parking lot, inhaling deeply. The world felt wide open again. That night, I sat by the window with another glass of whiskey. But this time, I didn't feel just free, I felt powerful. Because sometimes, the best revenge isn't anger, or shouting, or begging someone to stay. Sometimes, the best revenge is the quiet strength of letting them walk away while you're already miles ahead. She thought leaving me was her victory. But in the end, it was mine.